Navigating the Digital Jungle with Sue Atkins and Friends.
Welcome back to Navigating the Digital Jungle with Sue Atkins and Friends, where we help families find their way in the ever-evolving landscape of technology. I'm Sue Atkins, author of Navigating the Digital Jungle, Scripts to Start Family Tech Conversations, and I'm a broadcaster, and I'm your guide on this journey. And I'm here today with Angeline Corvaglia, creator of Data Girl and Friends, empowering young minds with online safety and AI literacy videos, games and educational materials. And we're here to guide you through the digital jungle. And our topic this week is Big Data, Little Hands, Navigating Privacy in AI-Powered Toys. We're looking at this really crucial aspect of modern parenting, understanding data privacy implications, because they're in everything. They're in AI-powered toys, baby monitors, and other smart devices that we bring into our homes. So from interactive toys and voice-activated assistants to smart monitors and connected cameras, these devices are designed to make parenting easier and playtime more engaging. However, with this convenience comes a need for much greater awareness of how these devices collect and manage data. So the AI-powered toys capture children's attention by offering unique interactions that traditional toys, of course, can't match. Through sensors, cameras and microphones, they respond to voice commands and they recognize faces and they even learn from a child's behavior. But these toys can collect vast amounts of data, including recordings of your child's voice, details about their play routines and their personal preferences. Some may even track location and log interactive data over time. So for me, this raises concerns about where this data goes, who has access to it, and whether it's being used responsibly. Smart baby monitors and home monitoring devices add that extra layer of convenience, but also they do come with some real worries about data and what's being collected, and sensitive information about your baby and your home can really be worrying, especially around hacking or unauthorized access if security settings aren't managed properly. So, Angie, do you have an Alexa or other devices like that? What's your advice for parents?
I do have Alexa, and I know the viewers can't see me. I'm smiling because we have actually the microphone muted, so it can't hear us unless we turn it on, which obviously in the first moment made my family absolutely insane, because the whole point is to be able to say, "Hey, Alexa," but they're always listening. And this for me was one convenience that I was willing to give up on. And once I explained it to my family as well. Just stand up, unmute the thing, and then you can talk to it, because it's always listening. And there is the wake up word where it will react, but that is quite a bit of information about us that these devices can collect.
Well, that's what freaks me out. My husband is always trying to buy me one of these devices because, for Christmas and birthday. So would you like one of these? And it's not that I'm particularly, manic about data collection, but when you think they're listening to you all the time, that's what really worries me. I mean, I know my data is all over the place, because really, how do you although we try and keep on top of privacy settings, it is really difficult. But, I've got a story here, actually a true story, about a couple I've been working with about their baby monitor that I'll tell you. I was working with Emma and Liam, who are new parents, and they're navigating life, of course, with their new baby, Sophie. And like most parents, they wanted to keep a close eye on her, so they bought a smart baby monitor. It's a great little device, and it lets them check in on Sophie from their phones, whether they're in the next room or they're running errands or whatever. And one evening when Liam was out, Emma was folding the laundry, and she opened up the app to check on Sophie, and there she was, fast asleep. But then Emma noticed something unusual. A notification popped up that said, "New device connected to your baby monitor." So she paused and she thought, well, that's a bit odd. Neither she or Liam had a new device. It wasn't scary, but it was unsettling. So when Liam got home, they realised that they'd missed a few key security steps. So they hadn't changed the default password on the monitor or updated their Wi-Fi settings. So it was a simple fix. They updated the passwords, they enabled two-factor authorization, and that made sure that the monitor software was up to date. But I thought, gosh, what could have been a problem turned into a learning moment. So I just offer that story for people who've got babies and they're using those sort of smart devices. I mean, you wouldn't leave your front door unlocked, would you? So don't leave your digital door open either. I think a little bit of extra effort and thinking about that makes sure that all the family are locked down and quite safe, you know.
Yeah, I spend quite a bit of time thinking about privacy, trying to get the message across how important privacy is and to take seriously. As you said, a lot of people say, well, my data is out there and what difference does it make? It does make a difference. And I try to help people understand that because the advantages are much better marketed than the risks. One thing that I've noticed, and I just want to share with all parents, is that the tech companies are just extremely, extremely creative in collecting our data.
That's very kind, that word. I know you took a little moment. I was going to jump in and say something a little less kind.
It's a moving target. That's just, I wanted to say that this obviously is a great example. If you have a baby monitor, where this is obviously a very sensitive device, to be extra careful. But with a smartphone, for example, with apps, it's just hidden everywhere. Basically, it's something you have to be always
switched on to, I suppose.
Oh, there's this other thing. It's not an end, and that's just one thing that I wanted to point out. That okay, today you find a privacy setting, you set the privacy setting. Tomorrow you find a new one. Just to have that mindset, because there's always going to be new things that you'll find. And that's okay.
So how often would you sort of think about that? Would it be monthly or would it be weekly? I mean, you don't do it daily. It'd drive you mad, wouldn't it? What do you think would be a good sort of balance to actually put that into, I must check my privacy stuff?
I think monthly is a good one. I mean, everyone is busy.
Yes, and it's manageable.
Yeah, once a month, just to go through, for example, start with looking at your apps and seeing which permissions that it has. I can also tell a story. I was at my parents' house in the US, and I had been texting with my cousin, and beforehand that we were going to meet, he came and he saw a book and he asked me about the book, and I told him, oh, this is a really nice book. And he said the next day his Facebook had all the information about the topic for that book, and he was like, how did that happen? I said, well, my parents had Alexa turned on and it heard us talking. This is, I don't know, probably something like this. Like we had been messaging via WhatsApp. So our phones knew that we had been chatting. Alexa was turned on. So maybe they heard us chatting. And the book had been ordered online from that address. So, these are just like crazy connections.
Because I wondered that when I looked up a cardigan, as you do on Facebook, it popped up, and I went, oh, that looks a nice top, or that's a nice cardigan. Off I went. And then I found it extraordinary that I would keep getting all sorts of similar cardigans from other places. And that's retargeting, because I looked it up, actually, when I was doing some Facebook ads myself, and how you retarget people. But that is kind of scary, isn't it? That you feel that they're listening in and they can hear and they know that book, and up it comes. Gosh, and it's all about selling, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
That's
it
the
is.
Thing. It's not about safety.
Why I'm saying it's a moving target. And the best thing we can do is just have that mindset. Let me check again. Maybe you've learned about something in the meantime. And also the settings change from the apps.
So I think the suggestions for me, I've written down a few ideas before we started, and understanding the balance between the benefits and the potential privacy risks. You've got to weigh that up, because the goal isn't to avoid the technologies altogether, but of course they offer great convenience and, all sorts of things, but it's a knowing how to use them responsibly. So for me, research the device privacy policies. Before you bring any AI toy or baby monitor into your home, read up on the company's privacy policy and look for transparency about what the data is being collected for, how it's stored, and if it's going to then be shared with third parties. Many privacy breaches occur because of outdated software or weak passwords, so check that. Explore parental control options. I say this all the time. Smart toys and monitors offer parental controls or privacy settings, so make sure you review them and customize these to the minimum necessary data collection for you and your family. And of course, the other one to do with kids that are slightly older, communicate with your kids. It's important to talk to your children about data privacy in an age-appropriate way, of course, especially if they're interacting with these toys and devices. So I really want you to pause to ponder what your kids are doing with them, perhaps what they're saying on them and what sort of privacy they're giving away. So here's another story, actually, from another client I was working with recently. They had a smart toy surprise. Anna was thrilled because she had her 2-year-old daughter Lily. She got her a new smart toy. And it was a cute interactive doll that responded to her voice commands. And she had all kinds of fun features with it. And Anna loved it. And it was keeping Lily entertained while she got things done around the house, of course. But one evening after dinner, Anna overheard something strange while Lily was playing with the doll. Because the doll wasn't just responding to Lily's questions, it was repeating personal data and details Anna had mentioned earlier in the day. So the toy had somehow picked up on a private conversation that she and her husband had been having. So it turns out the toy's voice recognition feature wasn't as secure as Anna thought. So it was recording and transmitting audio, including little snippets of their conversations, to the manufacturer. Anna was shocked and immediately disabled the toy's smart features, realising now that the device was a little bit more vulnerable than she'd first thought. So her takeaway from it: smart toys can be fun, they entertain kids, but they come with risks. So again, just pause to ponder, check those privacy settings, disable unnecessary features, and be mindful of what personal information these toys can access. In the show notes, I have written a great deal about the risks of smart toys. And if you want to go and read some of that, I've gone into great detail that I don't want to go into on the podcast. But I talk about data collection, security measures, third-party sharing, voice recognition, etc., and what parents can do and what they need to do. So there's a whole host of things there for you to access if you access the show notes later on. I'd like to tell you a bit more about my new book. As a parent myself, I know firsthand how overwhelming it can feel to keep up with the digital world our kids are growing up in. That's why I wrote Navigating the Digital Jungle Essential Scripts for starting meaningful conversations with toddlers, tweens and teens about smartphones or social media, AI, cyber safety and much, much more. My book is bursting with ready-to-use conversation starters that make it easier to guide your kids through everything from screen time and social media to the tricky terrain of online safety and artificial intelligence. It's like having a roadmap for those critical and important chats every parent needs to have. My book of Digital Jungle Script is all about giving you the tools to start those difficult but important conversations, no matter your child's age. Easy, practical scripts to help you feel confident and connected. So, if you're ready to feel more self-confident around discussing Roblox, Snapchat or WhatsApp, grab your copy of Navigating the Digital Jungle Essential Scripts and start transforming those tough tech talks into meaningful family moments. And let's get those conversations started at navigatingthedigitaljungle.com/resources. Angie, introduce the family change for this week.
Talking about privacy is very, very important. Make that a part of the DNA of how we talk about any tech. I do that with my daughter. Anytime we have any toy or device, just have that conversation. What information can this have? We all have learned to not appreciate the value of our data because the tech companies have convinced us of this. So even adults, probably most of us learn together with the kids that just because the data is out there already, just because we've made privacy mistakes in the past, doesn't mean that we should give up, right? Especially when it comes to helping our kids have that mindset. So this, my family change is just make it a part of your DNA, talking about privacy and sharing of any tech device that is anywhere near your family. Just a chat.
I love that. Yeah, I love that DNA idea. For me, for toddlers and with my parenting hat on, a practical and privacy conscious family change I think could be good is a no tech play basket. Fill it with simple hand-on toys that don't require screens, they don't require batteries, and they don't collect your data, because this allows toddlers to engage in meaningful play without any tech distractions or without any privacy concerns. So, select the toys, fill a small basket with safe things like blocks or stacking cups or plush animals or books or puzzles or whatever it is. The classic toys that I grew up on for exploration, for creativity and for motor skill development without any electrical features. And make it accessible. Keep it in a common area where your toddler spends a lot of time, because you're going to encourage them to, play with natural things without them always being tech-based. Get into a bit of a routine around that so that you have no tech playtime. This is a new idea really for modern day families. And then the other toys help foster their imagination, their skill development, and it builds their independent play. All really important. As we know, I'm pro-tech, but I'm also protect the kids, and also then have this digital balance where you're playing with real toys, not always devices.
Listener questions.
The question this week kind of goes back to what we've been discussing already. So are the AI-powered toys really listening to our conversations, and how much data do they collect? So the answer is yes, they are listening, unless they're turned off. And the amount of data that they collect kind of depends from toy to toy. Generally, if it's a responsible, well-known manufacturer, it's not going to take the conversations and send the whole conversations back to anyone or save those conversations. What they do generally always collect, even if they say that they don't collect things, is how you're using the toy, how the person is using the toy, how much time they're spending there, just which buttons they push, which features they use. So these are generally collected, even if they say we're not going to collect anything. But this is the same thing as we go on a website, right? We go on a website, and the vast majority are collecting information about how we use those websites. So with the AI powered toys, these are the things that they will be collecting. But as I mentioned before, one like Alexa, it has a wake up word. It has to listen to get the wake up word first, and then it will be more actively listening.
It's like trigger words, isn't it, that activate it really. And so I suppose if you're mindful of what your trigger words are and your intended commands, because then that kind of limits it a bit if you then turn it off or don't use them, I suppose. So there's loads of things to be thinking about here. So all we're trying to do, not scaremonger you, just pause to ponder about all of these things that we've talked about today. The bottom line for me is AI-powered toys can be a lot of fun, and they do offer unique and engaging play experiences. Of course they do, but they do collect data. So sometimes more than parents might realise. I think that's the key takeaway for me. And by understanding what these toys are capable of and taking a few precautionary steps, you as parents can help ensure that your children's playtime is both safe and private.
Yeah. And another thing to consider is having this awareness of children's toys and privacy issues with children's toys, building that in to how your child sees the toy is a great start for further on, right? When they have a more active internet presence, because they start at a very young age understanding what I say and what I do. Information about me can be collected. So if you start with making them understand that toys can do that too, these tech-based toys, then once you get to the phones or tablets, then they'll be in a much better position to understand, oh, privacy is the thing I have to take care of. So even young kids can benefit later on from this.
Yeah, I've written some scripts actually for parents. If you go over to Navigating the Digital Jungle resources, there are scripts there. And also on the blog, I write a great deal around all these topics. And there's one there about talking to your kids right from the get-go around incrementally building up their awareness, because you're absolutely right. It starts when they're young, and then by the time they get to, say, whenever you're going to give them a smartphone or other devices, you've started sort of making them aware and you've started the conversations. So I think that's a really good point, Angie.
Now for some top tips.
My first tip is research before you buy. Tip 2, use parental controls. 3, educate your child. There you go, succinct points there today. And that leads me on to script of the week. As you know, I'm quite unusual in that I write a lot about the scripts of actually what to say. In fact, my new book is all around the scripts of how to start those important conversations. So this is just an idea for you if you're interested in how to talk to your kids. This one is for age 6 to 12. Hey, whatever your child's name is, did you know that some toys are like little computers? They can listen and they can even talk. But just like you wouldn't tell a stranger all your secrets, would you? So some things we need to be careful of when we're sharing with our toys. If you're ever unsure, let's talk about it. Another script, perhaps for slightly older kids, is to say AI-powered devices and toys can collect information from us and about us, and not all companies are upfront about what they're collecting. And as we collect cool tech, let's remember that data privacy matters. Let's check out some of these toy settings together so we can keep all our family safe. Just kind of that language to get kids talking, get you feeling more confident around this subject. So what are you working on at the moment, Angie? What resources do you have and where can listeners find you?
I actually have something really interesting new this week. Data Girl is on Pinterest now. I am not a fan of social media, so at least I've expanded only from LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn and Pinterest now, so you can find Data Girl and Friends there. And of course, the conference in around a month from the recording time, there's going to be the SHIELD Global Online Safety Conference. So that's a big thing. You can find shieldthefuture.com.
You know your videos, I just love them. Where can people find them? Parents, because I love them. They're cartoony and they're really relevant and it starts conversations. Where can families find those?
Yeah, my website is datagirlandfriends.com. And there you can find the links to, how we learn. And there you have for little bit older. And then the younger kids, I have the interactive workbooks that have videos and stories and also the videos themselves. And I'm working on so much new stuff, actually, right now.
Well, that's why I want people to know about it. If you won't go on social media, I'll be your agent.
Well, Pinterest is nice. You have these little pins, and it links directly to. So
I'm on there. Yeah. I'm on there. I'll go and say hello and go and have a look and pin a few of yours onto mine. So there we go. Okay, wonderful. My Digital Jungle script book is out. Go to Navigating the Digital Jungle, go and explore resources. You'll see my new book with a video there as well, telling you all about it, because it's really helpful. All these different scripts about all sorts of subjects. I've tried to be as comprehensive as I can to help you from whether your kids are toddlers, tweens or teenagers.
Navigating the Digital Jungle with Sue Atkins and Friends.
That's it for today's episode of Navigating the Digital Jungle with Sue Atkins and Friends. Thank you, Angie. Remember to subscribe, leave us a review and send in your questions. We love hearing from you. And if your family has made a digital change and if you've got a question you'd like answered on the podcast, do send us a message across our social media, because I'm across all the social media, or email us at info@navigatingthedigitalJungle.com. Don't forget to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your teachers, tell your schools about this free resource of this podcast, because that's how we spread the word and hopefully help as many parents as we can. So thanks for listening. Do check us out, available across all podcast platforms. Until next time, stay safe and keep exploring.
Yeah, jungle out there.
time for a word from our sponsor.
I'd like to tell you a bit about this episode's sponsor, ICT in Education Teacher Academy. Are you an early childhood educator looking to confidently integrate technology into your teaching? Join the ICT in Education Teacher Academy, where they support educators like you with step-by-step guidance, hands-on examples, and a community of peers to help you succeed. Their online workshops and resources are built to fit into your schedule, so you can learn anytime, anywhere. Start empowering your students through tech today. Visit ictesolutions.com.au to learn more and sign up. That's www.ictesolutions.com.au.